What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Thai Lyfe Podcast, back again with another episode of Let's Get to Know Our Nailtech. But today, it's just not any ordinary Nailtech. You guys have seen him on social media. He probably have educated you on a lot of nail process. This one right here is a special one, y'all. My friend, NailDad. I call him Thuc Nguyen. How are you, bro?
Hey everyone, yeah, I'm good, Ty. Thanks for having me on your show.
Well, thanks for
I'm
taking the
excited.
time to be on here, man. I mean, we've seen you doing
Oh,
all type of content, skits, content creating
oof.
for educational. You travel all over United States to teach nail techs how to improve their skills. I mean, you do a lot from what I see,
Well,
and I
not
know from personal friendship. Congratulations, you had your third baby um,
yes,
recently.
three
So
girls. I think I'm blessed with girls. I deal with women all the day, and now I got them at home too.
well, there you have it. Well, before we start the show, man, can you give us a little bit of glimpse of yourself, how you really started
Ooh,
out as a nail technician? I mean, yeah, we might have to go back like 10 plus years, but take us back
yeah.
and then take us to
Oh,
here.
your introduction really hit me because everything that you said that I've done, and you never really think about it until you actually like sit back and say, "Wow, that's a lot to do in a career for a nail tech." Right? Most nail techs to start their career off, they just like, "I want to do nails," but there's so much more. But I think every nail tech starts the same way. As especially for me, as in a salon nail tech. Not every nail tech, but in the sense that you want to do nails, or you get into a position to do nails for whatever reason. Either is because you need money, or nowadays you're passionate about it. But for me, I'm gonna be honest, it was more for money. Um, when I started doing nails 15 plus years ago, back in 2007, 2008, there wasn't social media, Instagram wasn't a big blow up type of thing. Salon nail techs and stuff like that. You don't really see a lot. There was no social media for nails, to be honest. It didn't start until 2010, 12, when this is back when MySpace and all
Asian
that stuff. You don't see
Avenue.
people posting, nails on MySpace. This wasn't the thing. But yeah, just started off. Went to college. Took I was had the ability in high school to be able to either go to beauty school, or like a auto industry, like a tech, you know, like a co-op thing. And then I chose beauty because a lot of us in the Vietnamese community are that they know about the nail industry and stuff like that. We have the connections, so I chose something that will be able to help me make money and be flexible. So I chose beauty. I was able to get my nail license in school, paid for by the state because I was still in school. That I think that program's still available for a lot of people that are in high school, and a lot of students are in high school. Then after that, just pretty much work part time. Doing petty manis, learn how to do nails, being a bus boy at the nail salon. Pretty much, you don't really get paid. You know, remember male nail techs? You remember 2000, early 2000s? We were nothing. Okay, if you didn't know how to do acrylics, that's it. You're not getting hired anywhere. So for me, getting into a nail salon, it's like, okay, I'm just here to just oversee stuff, help around. I don't have to make money. I just want to be able to learn, and that's how it is. That's how the nail career started, and that was the first couple of years of my career, pretty much being a busboy at the nail salon. You put tips on for the other nail techs, then so they can be able to do a nail faster. You help polish, you help top coat, get the clients out of there, and you help clean up the spots, and then they'll allow you to watch, because you can't just go into a salon and like, oh, I don't do anything. I just want to watch and learn. They're not going to hire you, but they'll teach you if you're able to provide something that be helpful for them. So that's what it was for a lot of male nail techs back in the day. Unless you know how to do acrylics, unless you own your own salon, you're not a male nail tech in a nail salon. They don't hire males; they just hire females, unless you know what you're doing. Mainly acrylics. We didn't have gel designs, all that stuff. Just acrylics, French, airbrush, regular polish. But like I said, female nail techs, they're able to do a lot more. Petty manis, eyebrows, waxing, stuff like that. So they're more desirable. A lot of times they don't allow male nail techs to do petty manis, if you understand. Now it's totally different, right? So that's really how my career started. Just in my early teens, late teens, early early 20s, and that's when it just started blowing up. When social media started, but even then, we didn't have social media for nails. Even when it started blowing up, I was never on social media. I just worked. Just you know the grind
Were you married at that
being a
time?
nail tech. How what?
Were you married at that time yet?
No, no, I was wild that time. Okay,
Okay, wild and out,
I
huh?
I tell nail techs all the time. When you're younger, enjoy. As a nail tech working in a salon, once I was able to get my skill level where I'm going to be a main nail tech. So there's a difference. And when you reach main nail tech, a lot of salons are called Thuc. The main nail tech means that you know what you're doing. You can go to any salon and get a job instantly. And at that time, I'm partying, I'm in college, I can travel, whatever I want to do. I can just pick up and leave, go to another state and get a job right away. All I never need to know to do is pink and white. The moment then you call in, hey, I'm looking for a job. Do you know how to do pink and white? Yes. Come in, they test you. This is the thing a lot of times now. We don't get tested when you go into a nail salon. They give you the benefit of the doubt. But back then, no, you get tested right away. Come in, lay a bead on my finger. The owner do that right away. You're right in the spot. The moment you come in and you lay that acrylic, if they feel like you don't know what you're doing, you're out of there. No hard feelings. Next, you go to another salon, ask for another job. So it was really tough. I mean, I was let go from plenty of salons in my early teens. Some people didn't even want to hire because I was younger.
Now, when
But
you go to
I
these,
traveled.
like when you go to these like nail salon, you mean like when you go to a different city or different state, you can just walk into a
Mm-hmm.
nail salon and be like, "Hey, I'm looking for a job," and if you get tested and you pass to what they like to see, they'll hire
Yeah,
you.
job.
So that's how easy
Listen,
it was to get the job.
that was the golden age of nails back then. Was there's not a lot of nail techs, not a lot of salons. The at home nail tech was not didn't even existed at that point. To the point where it was like as big as it is now. Let's be honest,
Right.
there wasn't a lot of at home nail tech. Being a nail tech wasn't a desirable job back then. A lot of nail
Mm.
techs don't understand this. That 15, 20 years ago, being a nail tech was not a desirable job. A lot of times people say, "Oh, you scrub feet." That's what being a nail tech is. And a lot for male nail techs, like is a lot of males don't really do nails because of that. That's why males nail techs don't do pedicures because they don't want to, someone
Touch
say, "Oh,
feet.
I do the nails." But like I said, it wasn't a desirable job. There wasn't any prestige. There wasn't nail artists. There wasn't influencers, any of that stuff. So there wasn't a lot of people doing nails. So the nail salon pretty much had dominated everything. So anywhere you go, you're gonna get a job because it's so busy. And we're talking about a smaller type of salons back then. We're talking
Right.
5 to 10 max.
Right.
We're not these mega salons you have now where it's like 100 nail techs. Okay,
Right. Right.
so of course, even if you have two nail salons around the block from each other, they're servicing a community. Just so many clients that it's just impossible not to be busy all the time. So they're constantly looking for nail techs. So as long as you know what you're doing, boom, they're gonna hire you. That's why it was so easy. You pick up the phone. There's even remember about that. There's the
Hmm.
listing on newspaper. You look through it. There's a bunch. Remember a bunch of nail salons. Listen, need nail tech. Need nail tech. Must not do pink and white. Must be able to work full time. All that stuff. You just call any of those. Boom, you get a job.
It
It
is.
was.
It's so funny that you mentioned like the status quo in the nail industry too. Like back in the day, you don't want to let people know like, oh, I do feet. As a male,
No.
it's like when they ask you like, oh, what you do as a nail tech back in the day, it was literally an honor to tell people like, oh yeah, I know how to do acrylic. But that's like within the industry itself. Does that make sense? Because within the
Listen.
industry is like, hey, we want to know like, hey, we crafty. We don't just like rub feet and scrub feet because that's stinky. I, I
This
I
is
remember
this is
stuff like that.
this is the thing. What do we view of the nail tech in the salon back in the day? It's always mom and pop older, right?
Right.
Don't speak English. So for a lot of us younger generation that are fluent English college students, my generation was probably one of the last generations to kind of strive to open a salon and go into business and do nails. After my generation, no, my kids, that's not what I want to push them towards.
Right.
But I was the last generation. Our generation was the last generation for that. So as like when the viewing back then, even when I went to college and I was making really good money. I mean, like the people I went to college with, they were working McDonald's $2, $3, $4 an hour. I was, regardless, I was doing $20, $25 full sets, but I was still making five, 600, 700 a day, max 900, even sometimes 1,200 a day. Now, 15 years ago, that's a lot of money.
Correct.
And I mean, as in a week. Sorry, when I get paid out,
That's
eight,
still a lot.
500
That's
a
still
week.
a
So I
lot.
average
That's
six
still a
to
lot.
twelve
Yeah.
hundred.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So I was in college, and they were like, "Where are you getting all this money?" And then I'm like, "Oh, family business." I would never. I will truly, as someone that's been in the industry almost half my life, I'm very proud to be a nail tech. But I was younger then. I wasn't proud to be a nail tech then. I was working to make money. A lot of people say, "Oh, how'd you get into doing nails? Is it the passion, all this stuff?" There wasn't no passion back there then. As a young generation,
I bet you
I
there's
wasn't passionate about
I
it.
bet you there's a lot of people who's doing nails now, like especially like the older generation. They are not happy doing nails. They just do it because of the
No,
money and the living
it's just something
standards.
to do,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's nothing wrong with that. There's no reason why you have to have passion or have to be an artist or have to be something to do nails. This is this is the perception that social media gives now, and this is what a lot of nail techs want me to say when I teach classes. And they ask me, "Now, Dad, how'd you get into doing nails?" And they want this really, heartwarming story about how passionate I was. And that, no, I wasn't. I said, I told them straight up, I needed money support my lifestyle. I was young. I partied. I like to go to casinos. I like to take girls out. I like to buy bottles. And nails was a very easy way for me to make money. The passion didn't come until later. When you've been in the industry for so long and you get to the point where I've graduated, I got my degree, I worked in my field, and then I'm making good money. But I think to myself, I'm not happy doing this job with my degree. I was a lot happier when I was doing nails. So that's where the passion started coming along, where I had to make sacrifices. Like, do I want to continue the route now that I've graduated, got my degree, and do all this? Or do I want to go back to being a nail tech? But I can't look at nail tech being like before when I was like, oh, I didn't want to tell people I'm a nail tech. I had to say, okay, if I really want to do this, I really got to love it. That's when I found out that I really loved it. And that's when I went back to doing nails, gave up everything. And that's when the passion came because now this is my career path. This is it. I've given up everything else just to focus on this. And that's when the passion started coming in. I wanted to be faster. I wanted to be the best. Before I wanted just enough, and now I want to be the best. I go to every salon. I want to make sure I'm the best now. I'm doing the fastest pink and white. I'm making the most money. I'm sitting in the front. There's a status in the nail salon. Every time back then you go in the nail salon, you go in, it's always the owners or the best nail tech sit in the front, right? And it goes down. So when the clients come in, they know where they're sitting. They feel like, okay, this person knows what they're doing. That's what I wanted to do. So every time I go into a salon, I want to be the best. Then, you get moved up to that seat. Then I'm like, okay, I'm the best in this salon. Now you go find other salons, bigger areas, bigger cities. That's when you travel and you venture out and you realize there's so much more to nails than just scrubbing feet or just doing nails in your small town. I always tell a lot of nail techs this: when you're young and you don't have nothing tying you down, travel, fail, go to different states, different cities. You might fail, but then come back. But you might not fail. You might like it there more. A lot of nail techs don't feel like they're growing in their. You're growing because maybe it's their environment. The environment is so important. I was in an environment where I was comfortable, so I didn't strive to be better, faster, make more money. So then I moved to a salon that's bigger, have more experienced nail techs there. Maybe I can pick up some more tips and tricks from them. More competitive. The environment allows me to grow. When you're working by yourself, you only focus on yourself. You give yourself 3 hours to do a set, you're doing 3 hour set. But when you're working in a salon and you're doing an hour set and the other guy's doing 30 minutes and his work is just as good as yours, if not better, you're gonna think to yourself, okay, there's room for me to grow here. And that kind of like, not competition, but almost like you're in that environment, it forces you to grow faster and get better. And as if you're truly passionate about it, then you're gonna just pick up on it. And that's when I found out that I was very passionate about nails because everywhere I went, I was adapting to my environment and I was growing in my environment. And I was moving up, 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 up until, I got to the point where my career was just at the point where I was, I don't want to say cocky, but I was probably like the best nail tech in that city or that town or whatever area. People know me. I was really booked out,
Wow.
and all the salon owners know you. When you work and you're a good nail tech, this is a small community back then. They all know you.
Right.
So the moment you want to jump to another salon, they'll hire you right away. Yeah, we want that guy. He does 18 full sets pink and whites a day. That's a lot of money for us, you know. And that's
And what what
truly
what
where
what city did you like start like popping
I
up?
started in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with me, when I was in Michigan, I started in Michigan. I went to school in Michigan, but then I hated the cold. So every time when it comes to winter, the thing is, I like to make money back then. So in Michigan, if you were in a cold state, you do nails, and then in the wintertime it gets slowed down. The customers don't get pedicures much, and you get a lot of walk-in influx. Um, at first, I was only doing, nails, but then I realized, dang, pedicures make money too, and you can knock them out really quick. So a lot of my clients, I started doing their pedicures too, and I wasn't splitting the turn. Like, why am I splitting the turn for? I can just roll on one. And once you become a main nail tech, you will get to decide that. But if you're just a nail tech that they just hired in, and they say, okay, you're doing the full set, and someone else doing the pedicure,
You take
that's
what
what's gonna happen.
you take what they give you.
You take what they give you. So once you become a main nail tech, and you're like,
Yeah.
no, I want my whole client, my whole term. They're not gonna make you not happy, and then you're gonna leave to another salon, their competitor, right?
Yeah.
So then once that happens, I'm like, okay. So in the wintertime it's slow. So then what I did was I was a snowbird nail tech. Remember, no wife, no kids, no girlfriend, just partying, right? So I go to Florida in the wintertime. I work in Florida. All the snowbirds come to Florida. So it's super busy in Florida in the
Wow.
wintertime. So I'm making bank there, and then by the time Florida gets hot and
And what year was
Michigan is
this?
back.
Know that?
I did this all through '08. No, I did this after I was out of college. So 2012, 2016 to 18. That's
Wow.
what I did for a year or two, just because I wanted to travel around. I was in Texas. I went to Chicago. Like I said, I wanted to try different cities
That's
because
awesome.
you have to understand, like, nails are different. For example, one of the biggest things that I was exposed to when I was in Florida was dip, because dip came from Florida. It was in West Palm Beach, and up north they don't even know what that is. So when I was in Florida, people were telling me about this dip, and I was like, okay, and I learned how to do it. But then when I went up north, no one knew about it yet. It took like almost 6 months to a year for it to slowly become popular all over,
Manifested over there.
and
Yeah.
that's why in Florida we're making bank with dip.
Mm.
Just so easy. I'm like, what? This is so easy compared to acrylic, and people do it. And I was like, okay, well, that's why you go to different cities. When I went to bigger, when I went from small towns to bigger cities, I was getting more longer nails. People were doing more designs. The low feather designs, dotting designs. It's still a design. So, like I said, wherever I wanted to feel like I wanted to grow, I would go to that area. Say
Nice.
I want to do longer nails, I'll go to an area where I know, or city I know clients to do longer nails. I call the salon, I talk to them, and they tell me what kind of clients I have, and that's where I want to work at. So then I'll be able to gain my experience from them, and then move on different cities. Now it's like it's more broad now, but before, nails is very, I want to say,
Yeah, it's only
small
like certain
pockets.
locations. Yeah, certain
Yeah,
location
certain
that's hot.
locations, and they only do certain things. They don't.
Yeah.
Some salons don't even do acrylic. There's only certain locations that do things. So you really have to travel to get the experience. So I
That
did a lot of traveling.
that's cool that you were able to capitalize on that opportunity because a lot of people don't see that as a nail tech. They think, growing into the old school nail technician salon environment is like you work for that salon, you kind of
Oh no,
loyal to that salon. But with you, it's like, man, it's like opportunities here. Let's get there. Opportunities there. So did
I,
that ever lead you up to like, eventually you're like, when did you start realizing like, you know what, I'm ready to have my own nail salon? Because I know you were a salon owner at one point. So
I didn't want to do a salon till really later on because I just saw how stressful it was to be a salon owner.
yeah,
And as someone, I was really enjoying myself, making really good money. I told myself, I think at some point, I was bored with nails until like designs and gel, and then a color powder came along. But that's at that point, it was only pink and white. So I got bored of nails, and I just like kind of stopped doing nails for a little bit. Then stuff, new trends come back, and then I think it was early 2000, late 2015, 16, 17, 18. That's when like big salons started coming along.
okay,
You got these.
yeah,
Oh, I opened a salon, 20 nail techs. Oh, whoa, no,
yeah,
no way, 20
25
nail
spa
techs.
chair, yeah,
25. That's crazy. That's
yeah,
crazy. And these big salons started popping up, and it started becoming popular. And I looked to myself, I'm like, if I wanted to open a salon, I'm not doing a mom and pop salon, a small salon. No offense, I love my mom and pop salons. I work in many of them. I love them. They love me. But if I'm going to open a salon, I'm going to do a big one. So I want to be prepared for it. So I spent a lot of time just working really hard, save up as much money as I could.
Mm-hmm.
Even with money, I was still not comfortable with opening a salon because I've been in the business so long. I understood ins and outs, and I just didn't see myself doing it. Unlike a lot of nail techs today, no offense, they come in, become a nail tech, and the first thing they want to do is, I want to open a salon.
Right.
I want to do a brand.
Right.
I want to sell something. It's like, whoa, like learn how to lay acrylic bead first. You're still doing 3-hour sets. I think you should just slow down a little bit. And a lot of times it's very hard to tell these nail techs this, but it's okay to have to aspire to do more, but you have to really think of it as stages and levels where you have to complete all your tasks here first. Then you're going to move up to the next level. Then you complete all the tasks that you need to do here first. Like a checkup list. Don't just go, I just came in here. I just did a few of these tasks. Now I'm going to go up here and do some of these up here. No, that's not going to work. I was amazing until I knew that if I opened a salon, I would be able to work and be able to be stable. But in a sense, if I wanted to shift from being flexible and be able to do whatever I want to do as a nail tech to being locked down in one location, my own salon, it has to be worth it for me. It has to be a big one. And of course, bigger salons cost a lot more money. I worked on a really long time. And even when I had the money saved up, I was still uncomfortable. I was like, okay, I don't have any experience running a salon this big.
Right.
If I want a big salon. So I did the next best thing. I was like, I need experience running a big salon. I just call up, back then I had a buddy that was, worked like kind of admin, in the admin, kind of the corporate in the office for like these big chain salon. My first salon I worked at as a manager was Venetian. It's down in South Florida. They have huge, beautiful salons. You're going from $30,000, $60,000 salons on average, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the mom and pop salons back then. That's how
Yep.
much it really costs to set up. And now you see these salons are like, oh my goodness,
6 digits
it's like
easily.
5,000 square feet, 4,000 square feet.
Yep.
It's unthinkable. They got 20, 30 tables, 20, 30 spawns.
Right.
It's so big, it's so nice. Everything's marble, everything's clean. Everybody's in uniform.
Right.
And I saw him, and I'm like, hey, I hit him up, I'm like, hey, what do you do for this company? You're in a suit. You're not a nail tech. He's like, no, I just work in the admin. And I was like, oh, I would like some of that experience. They opened a new salon. They needed a manager. They gave me a chance. I learned a lot.
Nice.
I worked there for a year and a half. I managed a big salon up to 20, 25 nail techs. I just learned the ins and outs, dealt with receptionists, all that stuff. And there was a lot of experiences for me. I moved away for that. I was comfortable in Orlando. I told my girlfriend then, my fiance then, not wife yet, I was like, babe, we got to go. And we just settled down here with family in Orlando. And then boom, we're going down West Palm Beach and we're going to start over. And she was, super supportive because I had the drive for it. So we went down there for a year and a half. I got my experience. And then by the time I was like, okay, I got enough experience, I had an opportunity to open my own salon in Orlando. And that's what I did. I thank them. And I still have great friends at Venetian. And then, I made a lot of connections, a lot of networking when I was a manager. I was, able to meet a lot of really cool people. Anthony Vince. I met a lot, Jing Lin and Jimmy, and Kitui down in West Palm Beach, and Huang, them. I was able to meet a lot of the people that were really helping along the way. Then I became a salon owner, 2021, right? A year before COVID, whatever COVID was.
After COVID,
And then
yeah.
COVID hit.
Yeah.
Then COVID hit. I was open for a year, then COVID hit.
Gotcha.
And I was like, oh my goodness. It was definitely rough. But, that's when I became a salon owner. I checked all the boxes. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
When I checked all the boxes.
You did.
And even then, it wasn't easy.
Right.
You've been a salon owner.
It's not. I mean, I think the hardest part
easy.
about owning a salon is it's really just dealing with the people. You're thinking how you treat people and how they're going to treat you back is going to be the same, but it's just all different.
It's not about dealing with people. It's dealing with nail techs.
That's what I
people
mean.
That work for you.
Yeah. It's tough.
I mean, like, we can deal with people.
I can deal with client all day.
all day.
I can do client all day, but I think it's the nail tech. I didn't realize how needy they can be or the kind of demands that they want out of you. And I mean, it's just sometimes the request of the demand for certain employee is ridiculous. And I know you and I, we're good people, man. We want to do great for others, you know. But I give up.
Well,
That's why I'm so glad I'm a content creator.
Ty, we were in a salon. We were salon owners at the wrong time, pretty much, because if we were salon owners when we first started, we were golden.
Right.
Because remember, back then, there
wasn't a lot of
salons
nail
always
tech,
busy.
and
Yeah,
people appreciate you taking them in.
Yep, yep. People appreciate taking them in, and they need a job.
Yeah.
So they weren't as needy. There was a lot of nail techs. That's the difference. There was a lot of nail techs back then, so they can hire whoever they want. Now, because remember the generation shift, a lot of the nail techs that were in our generation, they became salon owners.
Right.
So you're taking the nail techs out of the industry.
Right.
And so we're a shortage of nail techs, and there's more salons.
Right.
You went from mom and pop shops, 5 to 6 nail techs, to now you have 60 nail techs in one salon now.
Yeah.
Where are you going to get all those people from? It's impossible. There's not enough nail techs. So a lot of salons, they're more accommodating to the nail techs needs. We have to be, situation has changed compared to back then. No, back then it's the balls in the owner's court. The nail techs did everything they could to please the owner. Now, let's be honest. Back then, we would make sure the owner is happy. We buy them coffee, food, and stuff like that. Now it's the reverse.
The owner got to try and make the staff is happy.
Which I don't mind. Yeah, it's just the reverse.
But which is fine,
It is what it is.
But it's just, I feel like sometimes you give them a piece of pie and they want the whole pie. That's just the reality of life.
I think it's one thing is you become, I learned something when I became salon owner my first year. My nail techs, they're truly loyal to me and they love me and I love them, as in like I treat them like family. But like I said, there are those that deserve it, and then there's some that come in and they take advantage of it. You become too close to the nail techs and you can't find a line between being an owner and a friend. And it becomes very hard to operate. It becomes very hard to manage your team, because then if people look at it as favoritism. When I was the manager at Venetian, I still remember the first time I fired somebody. I stressed out about it. I even asked my wife, can you fire this person for me? She's like, no, it's your job. You do that. Because you're too nice, but you have to think of this. Once I got past that first fire, like firing that first person, letting that first person go, I was like, this is easier than I thought. You're next. Dude, I was just letting go of people left and right. Because there was a lot, I was imagining 20, 25 people, but there's some that weren't really up to par and they're just giving them trouble. I was too nice to let them go. And it was affecting the other
staff,
nail techs, because they're like, okay, this person is hurting our business. It's gonna, these clients could be potential returning clients for money for the salon for other nail techs, but they're leaving because these people they don't listen, or they don't make adjustments, or they talk back, or they're too prideful. So when I finally just fired that person, I was like, oh, and everybody else was happy. I was in the role I did my job. So then I was like letting go of people left and right, and then people started shaping up. The ones that are, having issues that I was addressing and they weren't listening, now they're listening because they didn't want to lose their job. So that's one thing, is like when you become too friendly with your nail tech, it's a good and a bad thing, especially if that nail tech has alternative motives. They'll utilize that friendliness and they'll, go behind your back, and it festers. So I think that's one of the hardest things of dealing with people. Like how you said, dealing with people is like, everybody has a different mentality, and you can't really know what they're all about until
you work with them.
It's a lot of backstabbing in the nail salon. There's a lot of clicks and stuff like that, but it's different now because a lot of salons are bigger. They run more corporate. They really don't care for like the chitter chatter, the Tammys and Tinas, where they're all like group. They're all talking about other people. They click up and stuff like that. That's one of the worst things having in salon, when you have little cliques that kind of fight each other in the salon. They're like, okay, no, we're not micromanaging. This is the salon. Everybody listen to the front desk, and you got the nail techs. You got to do what you need to do. When we say something, you have to listen. Stuff like that.
It's a tough being a salon owner. I mean, once you become a nail tech, that's one thing. But when you own a salon, it's a whole different animal. I mean, we can spend all day and week talking about life of a salon
Oh,
owner, and it just never ends because
no.
there's a lot to worry
A
about.
lot a lot of people think, oh, when I talk about it, I'm scaring them. I'm not scaring you. I'm telling you how it is straight up.
It's
And you know
facts.
what's funny? There are a lot of nail techs that do listen to me, and they're like, "Oh, I wanted to invest," but then after we talked about it, I just do a lot of live streams where I answer questions. I thought about it. I'm like, no, it's not for me. And there are some that got the information that I gave them, and they still wanted to try it, and then they come back to me like, "Yeah, you're right. Every little thing that you said that would happen did happen. I wasn't ready for it, and this and that." Hey, you live, you learn. You move on. But if I can save someone some money, great. But I think one of the things about being a salon owner is that holding on to the salon too long. When you start, and you have to know if it's gonna make it or not.
Right.
Now, you hold on too long, you're gonna suck up all your energy, your passion.
Yeah.
That's what the one thing that I really hate to happen for someone that has passion for nails and jump into being a salon owner and just have it all just drain out of them. It's draining.
I always tell people like if you're gonna own a salon, and this I honestly make this mistake too, because I always feel like where you have to kind of do your due diligence to in order to get to the next level, like owning salon. To me, it's like now that I look back, I'm like, man, I wish I could own a salon when I was in my 20s because I didn't have kids back
Yeah,
then. I could go full throttle 7 days a week,
yeah.
nonstop, and nobody would bother me. And then all of a sudden,
Listen,
you have a family, and then you're like, oh, this is the right time to open a salon. But technically,
no,
it's not the right time because who the hell is going to take care of your kid? And 99% salon owners put their life in the salon environment
it
7 days to
it's
six
twenty four
days a week.
seven.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I missed out on a lot of my first two girls, Quinn and Haley. I missed out on a lot of their first 2 years because one COVID, two I had running the salon. With Quinn is because I was at the salon in COVID, so I kind of missed out on a lot of
Yeah.
her early years because I was just never home. By the time I got home, she's in bed, and by the time went to work, she's still asleep. So I got to see her maybe like 1 or 2 hours a day, or when I have a day off, which is rarely. And with Haley is when I started traveling and teaching, so I was traveling a lot, so I wasn't around a lot either. But in that sense, you make a lot of sacrifices. My brothers and sisters made a lot of sacrifices. They have multiple salons, and a lot of their kids were at the babysitter, or they kind of once they got older, they kind of self take care of themselves, take care of their siblings. A lot of you have to sacrifice a lot of that to
Yeah.
be successful salon owners. I know a lot of successful salon owners to this day, and I commend them for it because they're able to get down the formula. They're able to delegate. That's one of the hardest things about being a salon owner is that it's hard to delegate because you don't trust the person, or something's always going to go happen.
You always got to worry,
You just got
like
to be
it's
able
your
to delegate.
baby. But
Yeah, you always got to worry.
yeah, I give them so much kudos for delegating because that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Because you
Hmm.
you got to find the right person to have the same mindset as your standard. That's the hard part. But yeah, man,
I
that's
think on Jamie D. England, probably one of the best ones I've seen running the salon. When I first met them and I saw how they operate, I'm like, wow, although they delegated, they're really there and they're super successful. And like I said, salon ownership, don't be afraid to do it. Make sure you check up all the boxes to get there, and also be prepared to pretty much invest all your time into it. You have to. The first years you're there 24/7, regardless if you have a receptionist or something like that. And there's a lot of money. You lose money too being a salon owner, and a lot of people know that. I didn't make profit until my first year. I was half just breaking even because I had a big salon, a lot of rent, a lot of expenses. So that's one of the hard things
man.
going. You People ask me, would you ever go back to being a salon owner? Right? Would you ever go back to being a salon owner time?
There are times where I
Knowing
thought
what you know now.
yeah, well, knowing what I know now, there are times where I thought about like, I want to give it a try again because those are like my good days, you know. But then after I see what my brother goes through and with their employee again, I'm like, that's a reminder. I'm happy where I'm
Yeah.
at. If things is I'm still living, I have a roof over my head, and what I'm doing is going. I'm just blessed, bro. Like
So
I try not to
I think
be
that,
like there are certain things that's made for certain people, and I come to
yeah.
realize I'm not made to run a salon business because I'm too fucking nice.
Yep. You're too nice.
You know what I mean?
You have to really. A, a lot of times, when I was working in a nail salon, multiple nail salons, I would see the owners, and a lot of people like, oh, that owner is mean. When I see a mean owner, back then, one or two things means that she runs that salon well. If the owner's too nice, then it's going to be all issues. But I would prefer someone that runs the salon well and is nice, but you can't have both.
You
The
can't.
best of both worlds.
You just
You
can't.
can't.
You know,
They're
because
mean because the way they run it is too strict.
yeah,
So strict for me is okay because I'm in the salon doing what I need to do and I make my money. I get the hell out of there. A lot of people come in the salon, they're working, they're making friends, they're making enemies, and that since they're spending all day there, it's just like a whole drama episode, Days of Our Lives, Salon Edition. And I'm seeing all this unfold in front of me, and I'm just like, lady, like I'm just trying to eat. What are you talking about? So and so doing what? I don't care. So what? It was my turn, and they accidentally gave to her. I got the next turn anyways. Like I'm making good money. I'm not. I wasn't very nitpicky about that. I think that's one of the things about me back when I was working in nail salons. A lot of nail salon owners loved me, and they were very sad when I leave. But they respected me because they knew that I wouldn't take any of their clients because they know that I don't need it. I go anywhere and make money and build my clientele back up. And I was very straightforward about that. And I just go in and do work. I never dove into the drama. You know, I never really found the time for it. I'm like,
because you're too
I'm trying
busy,
to watch
man.
football, man.
You're too
Get
busy.
away from me.
You're too
Too
busy trying to
busy.
find the next thing. You know,
But it's,
you're making moves. You're not like your ordinary
so
nail tech. You're the nail dad.
some sometimes I still want to. After I sold my salon, sometimes I think about it. Do I want to open another salon now? Knowing what I know now, maybe I want to do a different concept. Then I thought about like, wow. You see, I took a year off of social media completely when my baby girl was
Yeah.
born, my third, Mia, because I just remembered a lot of the early years I missed from Quinn and Haley, and I knew that this one I didn't want to miss it. And I was in a position in my life where I was comfortable enough where I didn't need to focus too much on social media. My supply and NDS Beauty Pro was, doing well and, passive income. My wife had finished her medical program. She's working in anesthesia. She has a stable job. I already bought the house for them and everything was in set. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take a break. And I told my wife, she said, okay. And I was able to be around for Mia. Now her 1 year, her birthday is coming up next weekend.
Congratulations.
And I was like, okay, that's my 1 year break right there, Ty. I know.
So this is like a perfect timing that you're on my podcast.
Yeah. I mean, like, props to you because, you're one of the more few friends I've made on social media that's like, we always check up on each other. It's really random. Like, sometimes I'll call you, I'm like, I was just thinking about calling you. Or you call me, I'm like, I was just thinking about calling you. Wellness check. And I really appreciate it through the years and you don't see me as active anymore. And then you're like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'm just taking a break. And it's okay to take a break, and sometimes when you take a break, it's hard to come back, right? But I'm in no rush, and I have kind of a plan what I want to do, and when it happens, it happens. Like you said, I started off doing skits. I came to fame on social media for my live streaming days, where I live stream nails all day, every set, 5 to 15 sets a day, and that's how people know me. And then that's how my career started before I became an educator and brand and stuff like that, and networking. But until I find that next niche that I enjoy doing, then I'm gonna jump back in, and then I'll come in full force. But I think for me, mentally, I was just waiting for me to turn 1 year old, so I know, okay, now I can just focus on what I need to do, and I don't have to feel guilty about not being there or not seeing her grow. It's very sad because you know, I look through my phone and I try to find pictures of me and my babies when they're younger. I just don't see a lot of it. My wife was reminding me like, "Oh, you weren't there. You were staying far away, or because of COVID, or you're at work." And I missed a lot of these little things that when they're growing up, that I didn't want to miss that from me. But I'll be back in it soon. Um,
I'm just very
just
happy
but
that you.
this goes to show.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
This just goes to show some guys, if you take hiatus, I call it what I did was a hiatus, not a break. A break's like 2 to 3 weeks. I went like a year. Hiatus doesn't mean that you can't jump back when you're doing. I went back to teaching. I really appreciate Sean and Vi, now Professor V, and the nail bender. When I was like teaching a lot of classes, I brought them as assistants. And then, now I was pulling the students and now they've blown up and they're like, okay, let's do classes together again now. Then they get me back into teaching with them. Like, okay, fine. So we're doing classes again, and now they've blown up. They're able to get the exposure and get more students. And now, I'm back and doing teaching classes, and it's like a reciprocal thing, And I see them, blowing up, and I'm so super happy for them. The nail bender and nail professor V, because they're the very two that first started. I started bringing them along, assisting me in classes, and I knew they had talent. I knew they had the ability to kind of blow up once they found their niche, what they need to do on social media. And when I was on my break, that's when they were blowing up. This last year, I started watching their videos. I'm like, that's it. That's what you needed to do. And I see them grow. The social media now surpasses mine by so much. And I'm like, I'm so happy with them. But that's the thing in our industry, when we find people that we know, like you, me, a few other people, they don't forget. They don't forget where they came from. And when they call me and ask, hey, now that let's do a class, I knew what they're trying to do. They're trying to get me back in it. And I'm like, okay, I appreciate it. Let's do it. So I'm going to start doing classes again. One thing about me is I'll never get rusty doing nails and teaching, because that's what I have the most experience with. So it's fun to be able to get back in the teaching again with them and go on tour again, because I did that for a while. 2-3 years I was traveling
Nonstop.
38 states in
Yeah.
person, 500 plus students.
You know,
nonstop.
Nail
Twice a
Bender
month I was flying out.
and Nail Bender and Professor V are really nice people and great nail technician and great nail artists. I'm so glad you took a break for yourself to spend time with your kids, because I know how you feel, man. Sometimes we get caught in we call it, I call it the rat race, to be honest with you. We get caught of chasing like the next thing, because we're surrounded people with this, with that, and we want to look in the mirror and we ask ourselves like, why can't we get there? What do we need to? And then when you push yourself all of that, you're neglecting one thing, is your kids, your family. But when you really look in all aspects, we have everything we need in life. We have a roof over our head, food, our kids is happy, healthy, our family. To me, it's like sometimes we just need to take a pause and really appreciate what has been given to us, instead of what we think that we don't have because other people have it. So I'm so happy that you took that break, and I think deep down inside you needed that break.
No, yeah, of course. I was burnt out. I don't think anybody had traveled as much as I did in the last. I started a lot of trends when I was doing these classes and stuff like that. Very first ones to get a lot of sponsors, to actually have really nice looking certificates. And one of the things I had a goal in my mind was I wanted to teach in all 50 states. And that's why because my first class was in Orlando. And then I was like, oh, you know what? Not everybody can travel. So I was going to them. So that's when I was, one of those things where I was slowly moving on to to, different states. And I was like, oh, let's do 50 states. And I got to 38 and I was just tired. I got burnt out. And I don't think there's any other educator out there that has gone through as many states as I have teaching in person yet. So, I still have the goal to do 50 states in the future.
But you're doing a lot, man. I mean, you're a nail tech. You own a salon.
You're doing a lot. What are you talking about? Every day I'm seeing Thai Life.
Hey,
I think you're one of the most active person. But like I said, it's not easy. I sometimes when I look at Thai, I look at you and I look like that was me. That was me. Like when I was doing live stream and doing nails. Like everybody was like, how the heck is this guy live all the time? I was literally live from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. doing like 10 to 12 clients a day, and people would watch me every day, all day, all clients. And I was just like, oh, that was me, But until I think, until I find that kind of spark, I find that kind of niche what I want to do or go back to, and jump back in and invest my time into it. I'm not in a rush to do it, but I see you doing. I see a lot, like, V, and I see Nail Bender, and I see a few other nail techs are just grinding every day, and I'm like, that was me, and I'm praying for you guys, and you guys are successful, and then I'm going to say your mental health, I hope is there. Take a break when you need it, but that grind will get you to the point where you're exhausted. I was exhausted after 3 years of traveling and doing the live streams. I needed it, like you said, or else I would lose the passion for the nail industry. You know,
So
or else I
now,
would.
Dad.
Even if I took a year break, people still know who I am, huh?
So I know
Right?
there's a lot of things we can talk about, and we can go on for days. And
Mm-hmm.
if you guys are enjoying this podcast, please leave it a like, comment below what you guys miss about NailDad and what you guys learned from him. You've been like an innovator in the nail industry. You're not just an educator. You also have your own brand, NDS, and
Mm-hmm.
I was very excited to see you have your own brand, and just the thought, like, man, that was my dream, dude. Like, you were one of my idol that I like inspired. Like, you were the person that inspired me to be like, I want to be that person. Give us a little bit glimpse about where NDS is going, and what's your plan for the future with that.
That's another cookie, huh? Having a brand, you started your
It's
brand too
hard. It's not as
with
easy.
the
It
product.
definitely need a
It's
team.
hard.
Yeah.
When I started, I never wanted a brand. It was the name NailDad was actually given to me by my viewers on my
On
live
live.
streams
Yep.
because they would ask me questions and then I would answer them. But then a lot of times when they ask me like tough questions, I would give them the tough answers. Like a lot of times it's like, hey, I just started doing nails. I want to do black and white ombre. How do I do that? And I'm looking at the account. I'm like, if you just start doing nails, you're not doing black and white ombre. You're not there yet. Your skill level's not there yet. There's no reason you should be doing that. You should need to start doing this and this and this, that. And then a lot of people are like, dang, I needed to hear that. You're like a dad. You gave it straight to us. And then someone said, oh, you're like a nail dad. And then when I saw that, I was like, hmm. And then every time I did a live, people come in, hey, it's nail dad, hey, nail dad, hey, nail dad. It just started to catch on. That's when the brand NailDad happened because I was like, okay, like, all right. So I turned it into a brand. I named myself NailDad. Back then I was Nails by John underscore. So I went by John, my salon name. So I became NailDad, and then the brand started. I think my first time I was using a brush, a Kolinsky brush, 777. A lot of people ask me, I want to buy that brush. Where did that brush? I said, hey, listen, you can go to the nail supply store and buy it. A lot of them are like, I don't want to buy from the nail supply, so I want to buy from you. I want to support you because you're teaching us, you're showing us how to do nails on live, you're answering questions, you're giving a lot of your time for us. So I was like, I don't know, guys. I don't sell nail supply. I don't know. I just do nails. I work in a nail salon. So then one day I was like, okay, fine. I have a friend of mine that knows a distributor for the brushes. I was like, can you just put a few of the brushes on here for me, mix these brushes? So I had 50 brushes. It's the first time I ever bought anything. So I'm like, I don't want what people don't buy, right?
Right. You
So
worry. You
I was
always
like,
worry about that.
just put nails, just put at nails by John underscore on the brush. In case no one buys it, I can just use it at my live and have my Instagram handle, right?
Right.
So my first 50 brushes were nails by John. There are some nails. So I was like, okay, guys, here's the brushes. Just DM me. And then I have for sale. Boom, 2 minutes, sold out.
Wow.
So there's 50 people with the original brush, nails by John. I was like, oh shit, people really support you because I pour into the community pours back and it supports me back.
That's big.
And that's when more and more stuff comes along. And then later on, I wanted to grow to be a big brand. So that's why I started NDS Beauty Pro, which is NailDad Studio, my Instagram handle now. Like I said, I wanted to go big, so I did really good being small and kind of niche, just focus on certain products, and I was making a lot of connections with a lot of brands. And then I wanted to go big, just to check off that box. It was just the last thing I need to do. I wanted to go big,
Right.
so I wanted to build a team. I wanted to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into it, and I wanted to bring in some partners to help me and stuff like that, alleviate a lot of my work. And then the NDS Beauty Pro came along, and and I did it. That's why I always say you gotta know when to kind of like understand. Okay, this is it. Like just like with salon, if you open salon, you gotta know if it's gonna make it or not.
Right.
So before I made that big next jump, I kind of got that first kind of prerequisite starting how to do a big brand, because I network with Not Polish, Chisel, Anti-Viz, Wave Gel. I went to all the trade shows with you.
Yeah.
I went off the trade show. I understood everything, ins and outs. The thing is, bro, is that before I made that big step, I didn't feel it. It was too much stress, too much overhead, too much change. I have
Responsibility.
3 kids. This is something I can do, and with the partners, too much responsibilities. I feel like I was losing that original feel of NailDad,
Of who you
people
are.
supporting me. And I was like a brand, I was a team, who I am. So I was like, told my partners, hey, listen, I'm gonna buy you guys out, and I'll take it back, and I want to scale it down so it's just me now, more personable. And that's where now NDS Beauty Pro, it's gonna continue to be NDS Beauty Pro, but I'm gonna make it
more
understood that it's my
originated
identity.
towards
Before, I wanted to
organically for
separate
you.
myself from the brand.
Right.
Yeah, so I wanted to separate myself from the brand, because now it's a brand. I don't want it to be all on me.
Right.
So it's just going to be other team members working and stuff like that. So, I had a great team, like I said, Nail Bender, Vi helped me out, a lot of people, Leah, a lot of great nail techs supported me in the beginning, and I really appreciate them for it. They put a lot of time into it, but I just decided that wasn't what I wanted to do with the brand.
And that's okay.
So now I'm scaling it down while I was on my break, but yeah, that's okay. I'm still happy. I love NDS Beauty Pro, but now I want people to know that it's me, NDS Beauty Pro, and that they can support me. And I want to revamp the products a little bit, scale all the products down to just the good products I was known for.
Right.
And that's easy for me to manage than having to,
correct,
be a big brand. Like, Mikey, Not Polish, and Tao.
Great
and
people.
I know
Great people.
David Huang from Chisel. I see a lot of headaches they go through. I'm like, yeah, great people. I see a lot of headaches they go through, and I'm like, I don't want that,
Yeah.
So I was like,
it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. And I can tell you, you're doing a great job. And I'm just, like I say, I'm just happy that you found your ground, and that's family. I'm glad that you're spending time with your 3 beautiful daughters. And you know what? I'm sure your wife really appreciate the fact that you're more home managing the house stuff with the kids versus while she's at work. And I mean, nowadays, man, that's the kind of lifestyle where you kind of have to find balance. Because I see a lot of people out there, they can make millions of dollars. But if you ask them, hey, how's your kid doing? They don't even know what their kids are doing. And I don't want to be that kind of parent, because to me, where I'm at in life is whatever I do, I have to educate my kids, teach my kid. And I cannot teach my kids and be there for my kid if I'm not there. So you're doing a great job, man. And I'm so glad you are on this podcast, because we miss you. We were wondering, like, where the hell is NailDad? And I think now that, you share a glimpse of your life, it's amazing. And you should. Any advice you want to give to the viewers?
All I got to say is mental health, number 1, family, 2. Those are your foundations. All that nail stuff, chasing numbers, followers, views, all that stuff, it comes and go. You can be popular one day, viral one day, and none the next. But you can never buy back the time that you lose from being with family, and you can never buy back your mental health, okay? Because once your mental health is stressed out, it's hard to recover from that. So I think I needed my year to break, and when I come back, I'm hopefully come back stronger. I have a lot of support from the community, from my friends, like you, Ty, and a great other nail techs that always check up on me and stuff like that. And I think that's one of my advice is just just take care of yourself first. The numbers will come, your moment will come. I think everybody just needs to wait for their moment and be ready to capitalize on their moment instead of trying to chase it so hard where you're going to lose yourself and lose your passion for the industry. That's one of the most important things in the nail industry is that being a content creator is like, anybody can create content, but if you can create content where you can see your passion show through your content, your originality, being genuine with your content, that's a lot harder. And that's really how I can say, really, I think you understand that more than anybody else, Ty.
Well, you will always have my support, and I know the fan out there will always going to support you, man. I want to say thank you so much for taking your time out of your... Oh, I'm always going to help you out, man. And I'm so glad you're on this podcast. It was good digging into your knowledge, your brain, And thank you for sharing me a glimpse of your past life and your present life today. If you guys enjoy this podcast, make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, and make sure to share this podcast to the world. You guys can listen to this podcast on YouTube Podcasts, Spotify, and also Apple Podcasts. Thank you, NailDad.